So I started this commentary not wanting to start it with hi. That's not as strange as well, but I wanted to do a commentary which I'm already lost. I want to do a commentary which doesn't feel like a commentary. It's just supposed to feel like a talk. Or why am I saying then I want to do a commentary? Then I want to do a talk to you. It's not about something serious. I just want to make a video. I was kind of boosted a few days ago to make a video, do something with my summer. Of course I am doing things, but do something on my channel. And I wanted to do this commentary, this talk yesterday, when I was sleep deprived. I'd slept 2 hours before that, and what? I can't remember. You were at a party? No, I was just taking a flight at 7:05 in the morning. I had to get up at 4, and I went to bed at 1 and got to sleep at 2. I actually fell asleep too, so I slept a lot 2 days ago, but tonight I slept like 11 hours or something, and now I don't feel like that anymore. But where have I been? Well, I've been in Italy and the Alps, and wandering in a valley called the Aosta Valley. And more specifically, the Aosta Valley is very big. I was in Val d'Ayas, and it's walked in the Alps, 7 days, 6 refugios, Alp cottages, I guess. But I'm not going to talk too much about that. It was a lovely trip, but this is not a blog or anything, so I'm not going to sit there and talk about my trip to Italy. It was fantastic, and I was sleep deprived yesterday, and it would have probably sounded a bit funny because I saw 2 pictures, even though I tried to focus. I could focus it away, but I was really tired. It felt a bit like being drunk, and I've done one kind of drunk commentary on this channel before. It's not a lot of people that have seen it, but well, it's still nice. It's still fun to look back at. But so a few weeks ago, this is what I wanted to stick into this talk. I had a long and fairly complex dream, and the morning after, when I wake up, I felt like I remember this well. I got to do a commentary about it, and I got to think of Drifzz's Epic Dream series, all those videos he has made about a very long and complex. I think he's had a few long complex dreams, but one of the dreams went on for about 12, 13, 14 episodes of 20-25 minutes each, so he talked for several hours about a single dream. And this dream I'm going to talk about will perhaps take 10 minutes to explain all through. And for me it feels like he's a great storyteller. Those series are great, really nice listening to. But it just doesn't feel like he's really dreamt it, because when I dream, sure, this may be individual, it probably is, but when I dream, I can never remember details. If I see a knife, it's a knife. It's not a special sort of knife or a certain brand or whatever. It's like things are symbolic. You don't exactly remember a lot of things, other than you remember the symbolism and not much more. You can never remember details. Well, you can remember some details, but you can't. He tells in his Epic Dream series. He tells you, I've listened to many episodes of it, and he explains everything so detailed. He remembered dialogue. I never remember any dialogue. I never have any dialogue in my dreams, and there's a line in time and there's a line in place. So it's like a long movie. He's dreamt through a long movie, and it doesn't sound like the kind of strange world that dreams typically are for me, because for me they're like hopping about in time and place, and I just can't get it to make any sense. The morning after, why I was there when that happened, why it went in slow motion there, and how much time went between the places, I can't remember. I can't recall that the morning after. Never. So I felt like it maybe it's made up. It's a great story, but it feels made up. Probably, I mean, people are gonna bash me for this if they've seen this series and really like Drifter. But I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. So many hours, so detailed, so much dialogue. It's all just, I don't know. But let's get to my dream before I remember that entirely. It was a few weeks ago, and the morning after I remembered it perfectly, but now it's a little more... It's started to drift away a little more from me. So we'll see how good I can recall. So the dream starts out. I am walking alone. It is late, and I'm walking between the cemeteries on the sidewalk on a long street that is quite close to my home. I know where it is. It's taken from reality. It's a long road, goes about 300 meters the same direction, and it splits two cemeteries in. It splits one cemetery in half. And I walked there. It was late, and in front of me, I was kind of driven up onto the sidewalk, is a bus. Don't know what kind of bus. It's just a bus. And I walk on the right side of the road, on the right sidewalk, towards my house, and the bus is driven up like in front of me on the sidewalk. Driven on the right side and driven up to the side on the sidewalk. And I walk past it before I guess I walked past it. I don't remember walking past it. I walked towards it. I walked on the street, and then suddenly it was behind me. So I guess I walked past it and then realized it was there. Perhaps it crashed in behind me. I don't know. And on the side of the bus stands a person. It's a guy, and he has a bomb vest strapped on him, and he's scared because he's part of a group of hostages that sit inside the bus with bomb vests. They all have, I understand, somehow. Even though he doesn't say it, I understand it somehow. I remember understanding that. And he's scared, but he's somehow out there. I don't know if he's supposed to be some kind of negotiator, try and get some food and water into the bus to the other hostages. But, well, we start talking. I don't remember what we said. I said there was no dialogue in my dreams. No, there isn't. I don't remember anything we said, but we walk away anyway. And suddenly we're at an all other place. We're no longer at a place that I can recall from my head. It's no strange place. It's just walk on the left side of the road, and there's a house, long house. I don't know what it's called. A row of houses on our left side, like high houses and long houses where lots of families live. There's a little patch of grass in front of the house. We walk next to it and turn around a corner, and when we've turned around the corner, I can see a stair going down. It's like the back door of a restaurant. That's the feeling I get. So it's like the way down into a restaurant from the backside, down into the kitchen, like that. And we walk down these stairs, and it turns out I don't remember thinking that in a dream, but I can recall it afterwards. That this is a long and white corridor, and on the side of the corridor, on the right side from where we're looking, we're going down the stairs and looking into this long white corridor, which turns off to the left, if I can recall right at the end. There's a kind of whole room to the right, a small room that is attached to the corridor. It only has 3 walls, the 4th wall being where the corridor is, and in this kind of room there are 2 pillars, and yeah, that's about it. It's all white. And suddenly with me and this man, is a police officer, I believe. I'm not going to say too much. It's a good guy, and he has a gun, so that's what I'm going to assume. And we go there, and we talk a little, I guess. I don't know what we do. We just suddenly stand there. I don't remember a lot of walking. We walk a few steps, and then we're at the next place, and just hops in time, jumps in time. Can't explain them. Suddenly, we stand there next to the room. We stand next to the 2nd pillar, the more distant one from the stairs scene. I can probably paint a picture of this to have in, just to get you to understand how it looked like. And suddenly behind us, the 2 I'm not going to say the 2, but 2 hijackers show up. The 2 hijackers, 2 terrorists or whatever. I'm not, you know me, I'm not a racist person. I hate racists. So I don't know what country they came from or anything like that. It's not important. The two people that were on the bus, maybe there are more, I don't know, but I had the feeling that those were the only two people on the bus that I had gotten this man with the bomb vest from. They are after us now for some reason, and they both have guns. And they start shooting at us, and we take cover behind this second pillar. One of the terrorists take cover behind the other pillar in front of us, and the other one is somewhere in the corridor somehow. And the man with the bomb vest, he sits, I think he just stays next to our pillar. He doesn't have any gun, and the police officer or whatever good guy it is with the gun on our side, he starts returning fire. And I also have a gun, I believe, but I don't know. I'll come to that soon. I have a gun, and I do something heroic. I try to throw myself out into the corridor and look behind the pillars where where one of the terrorists or one of the hijackers are. And I get shot twice, and my gun doesn't seem to go off. I can't hear any sound, so it's like absolutely silent. I still know I get shot, and I can't quite explain why, or well, I can, but it's gonna sound strange, because my field of vision, at the edges of my field of vision, there comes a red blur with lines in it, and instantly when I woke up, I remembered, I thought, it's gotta be from there. It's gotta be from one of the Modern Warfare games. When you get hit too many times, you get red and throbbing edges of the screen, and it was those kind of edges. So from that, they have hit twice, knowing I got hit twice. I think I missed a few times as well, but I got hit twice, and I returned fire, I think, but I didn't hear gunshots. But they don't get hit and they don't die. That's necessary. They don't get hit and they don't die. Ooh, yeah. But I get hit twice, and I retreat down the corridor. I try to run down this long corridor in the opposite direction of the stairs, away from the terrorists, and I can hear them shooting at me from behind. And I don't get hit, but I hear shots bouncing on the ground, and then past me rolls, I can't hear them bouncing, I know they're bouncing on the ground, and rolling at just like twice my running pace comes a white tiny plastic bullet, a round little ball of plastic bullet. It's not big, and I can even tell you the weight of them, because that's the kind of soft airgun bullets that I use for my soft airgun weapons. So they have somehow sneaked into the movie, the Dream as well. They're bouncing past me, and it's still serious. It's not like they are shooting soft air gun, I can turn around. I didn't think like that. They were still shooting at me. This was still serious stuff. It's just that I don't know. I can't explain it. So I run down this corridor. I get away from there alive. I don't die from the soft air gun bullets. I run around the corner to the left, and I think I'm going to flank them. I'm going to do something more heroic, jumping out in front of them and failing to shoot them and get shot twice myself. I'm going to run like around and flank them, attack them in the rear. I'm going to go down the stairs I'm going to run around the entire building and go down the stairs and shoot them in the back. And I've run like around. I still run down in the basement, but like in a circle, because I'm running in a hotel. It's only a hotel, I don't know. I can't explain why I understand that. I will come to something that hints towards it soon. But I'm running down in the basement in I don't know if it's a corridor. It goes kind of quick. I don't have many images I remember from that. And I run around in the basement in a circle. It goes like around an inner garden, you know, that the houses envelop somehow, I don't know. And the only thing I remember very clearly from running around there is at one point I met a couple with white robes, morning robes. I don't know if it's called that, these morning coats you put on at the morning, completely white, and they are walking into a sauna. I believe it's wooden doors, 2 wooden doors that you push inwards with 2 round windows, 1 on each. They walk into a sauna, and I can tell you where those. I probably can tell you where those white robes are from. They are from a hotel in Båstad, which is Skåne's, at least, perhaps even Sweden's biggest tennis city. Yeah, and I've been there. I was there this summer earlier, and we saw them quite a few times. I saw them even last summer. You kind of put them on the hotel, go down to the water on the long wooden brygga. I tried translating brygga before, it doesn't work. These wooden planks, go out in the water, and you can walk down a few stairs and take a dip in the water, then put on the white morning robe again and go into the hotel. Those white robes were from that place. I can probably tell you that much. So I see them, then I keep on running, and by the time I get around to the stairs again, I look down the stairs, and the 2 hijackers, the 2 terrorists or whatever, they are getting handcuffed. They have been caught, they've been defeated, they've been taken by the police, and yeah, that's kind of the end of my adventure. I didn't get to be heroic. Instead, they were arrested by the time I got back to them, because running down in that hotel basement, it's very strange, I remember, because I don't have many image pictures at all from it. Like, there's not much I remember from running out, so it should have gone very, very fast. But at the same time, it took a long time to go around there. Since the terrorists were taken by the police, by the time I got back, I got up and running down there for 10 minutes. But it didn't feel like it. I don't have many image pictures at all from it. It just teleported around and poof, it was over. And that's how it is in dreams. I dream all night, and I can't remember it going many hours. But at the same time, I know it's been a long time lapse. It's just that I make jumps in time in my dreams. And yeah, and that's the end of my dream. I already said that, probably. That's the end of it. I don't remember anything after that. Just waking up. And what I have is a few things gotten from real life. The street in the beginning, the Modern Warfare edges, and the white bullets bouncing past me, and the people in white robes from Båstad. Those are the things that I probably taken from real life. And that's how good of a dream I get. I don't get any dream I can sit and talk about for several hours. This is what I remember. Yeah, not much details. This is it. So I find it strange that someone can dream really complex and long dreams and remember them afterwards. It's I don't know. I'm not going to say he's a liar, but I guess that's what I am going to say in the end. But it sounds harsh. Whether that he is a liar or not, whether or not it is true, it's amazing videos. He's a great storyteller, so won't take anything away from them. They're still worth having on YouTube, even though it isn't a dream anymore, even though it wouldn't be. So yeah, end of this little talk. I'm happy how it turned out. It was relaxed. It's a lot of and yeah, it ended up good. So felt like making a video. I'm gonna try and make an extra music video as well, just to have something to fill out. I'm going to be gone for probably 3 days now. Be a functionaire at O-Ringen. We are arranging it this year. Oh, you remember when I started my channel about 2 years ago? I talked about going to O-Ringen. Yeah. Now it's 2 years later, and I'm being the functionaire. It's the 50th edition time they have in O-Ringen, so back to the roots, back to the first place they held it, here in Skåne. Oh yeah. And I'm going to be for a few days grilling sausage. Wanna get some sausage? Alright, let's quit it here. I've watched too much Vinny wine sauce. Nintendo's Corruptions, I recommend you to watch if you feel like dying. Thank you for listening. This has been Kind Remember. Bye.